tortillas. I'm making this clip because I was rushed to my other ones and I thought, no, I'm going to take my time and make these tortillas and I'm going to perfect them because it's hard to make the right kind of flour tortillas. It's like an art. Making flour tortillas, it's an art. It's a beautiful art. All I can say is that when I go to San Diego and I go down there, there's a favorite place that my niece introduced me to, and she would just say, you know, while she went to work, she would allow me, you know, of course, her hospitality was wonderful, and she allowed me into her small space, but she made me feel at home. And I think that's the key to hospitality. The key to hospitality is allowing someone to make you feel, you know, allowing even your employees to make them feel at home. And a lot of times, employees don't do that. And so, so the first time I ever went down there, I went into this restaurant, and outside they have the ladies, they're all dressed up, and they're making tortillas, and these are wonderful memories for me. And this is in old San Diego, if you ever get a chance to go there. I love it. And they're all dressed up, and they're making these beautiful tortillas, and it's right there, and that right there attracted me to eat there. So every time I go to San Diego, I gotta eat at this place because it just takes me into a whole different space of, you know, of cuisine. And so, I mean, it's beautiful. I love going down there to visit, and I kind of miss it. So, anyways, but and the key is to have a good flour tortilla. And I've been making them. I've been making hippie tortillas, and I've been making all these other crazy. But I really wanted to perfect my tortillas, my flour tortillas. So before we get started, I'm going to wash my hands, and then we'll make these beautiful puffs of blankets of delicious, wonderful, great, fantastic, beautiful tortillas de harina que son tan buenos para comer con tu comida. Yes. So anyways, I got here some fine pastry flour. It's unbleached and it's white flour, and I'm just going to put in, I'm going to kind of put in about a couple, I just want to make a few so you can see, just a couple cups there. Okay, and I'm gonna put some baking powder in there. I'm not gonna put a lot because I found that when I was following the recipe, I tasted too much baking powder, and and the oil was making my tortillas hard. So I just want a little bit, and I'm gonna wing it like my mom used to. And she used to say, "Nomás ponle poquito, mija." So I just put just like a big pinch, okay? And then I'm going to get some salt. So, and I had some complaints because I was following the recipe. People were telling me that they were too salty. I said, well, I followed the recipe, and this is out of a Mexican cookbook? I said, okay, someone didn't really do their homework. So, I'm just going to put just a little bit of salt, and that's probably anywhere between a fourth and half a teaspoon. Probably not even that much, maybe a fourth. And because I don't want a lot of salt in there. And I'm going to take this whisk, and while I'm stirring and getting everything together, I have the grill on, right? And it's on low. Okay, it's on low. And then I have this other little cast iron skillet, as you see here, and I have it on low. And what I'm going to do is get just a little bit of coconut oil. Oh, it's already melted. It's been by the heat, so I don't need to. So I'm just gonna put like about a tablespoon. I don't want a lot. I don't want a whole bunch of coconut. I don't want it greasy. And then I'm gonna get some water. Just regular tap water is fine. If your tap water is drinkable, that is. Hopefully you live in a place where your tap water is drinkable. Should be drinkable. And then I'm just going to pour a little bit of water at a time. And you know, that's probably about, I have a cup in there. And so what I want a doughy, but I also want like an almost sticky consistency. You see that? It's starting to gather together. Okay? And I do put a little bit more water. So I'll probably put about 3/4 of water. Yeah. And then I start out in a bowl, which is what I do. And see how that's almost sticky? That's how I want it. That's how I want my flour tortillas. I don't want my flour tortillas really, I kept following all these recipes and I kept wondering, why aren't these coming out as good as, man, needed to focus. I was using all these multi-grain, and I thought, well, let me try the multi-grain, which is fine. But when you use different flours, I found that it changes the consistency. See how sticky that is? So you want it about like that. I'm going to put this aside. And then I'm going to get some extra flour in this little container. So pour some in that extra flour there. Okay. And what I have here, I have like a scraper to scrape that if it gets too sticky and it sticks on the board here. And I like using a board. You could use a marble. You could use pretty much anything, but I just like using the board. And see how I pinch that, and then I just kind of roll that together like that, and I'm pinching it as I'm going around. See, I'm just pinching it, just kind of, you know, like that. And so I'm pinching it with my thumb and my index finger. Okay. Okay. Let me just go ahead and pinch that again. Oh, put the music on too loud. Hope you can hear me. And so I just go and and that gives the flour a little bit time to rest and just to heat up. There you go. I have to have my music. Can you hear it? For those who've been saying their complaints were having cracker tortillas, yeah, mine were becoming cracker tortillas too. And I believe that because I kept following the recipe. And I couldn't believe that all the recipes that I said, why are my tortillas coming crackered? And I finally figured it out. After I did a couple, I said, no, I got to figure it out because I know how to make flour tortillas. It's just been a while since I made them. So, you don't want a lot of oil, and you don't want a lot of baking soda powder in it. Definitely don't want baking soda. And you don't want, you want enough water to make it really super pliable. And these are going to be so good because I'm going to be using these for my next clip that I do after this. And these bring me good memories. Wonderful memories. Okay. So I have all my yeah, those are some really fantastic memories going to San Diego. So much history there. I really love it. I miss it too. I miss it a lot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flour my rolling pin. And then I'm going to put it in the middle here. See, I have all these here. I want to make sure that that grill is on like almost a hot point. So, and if you want to check it, what you can do is get a piece of, like any kind of paper towel, put a little bit of oil, just a little bit. Oops, well, I didn't put a little bit. And then you just season it, which is what I'm doing. And eventually, I'm going to probably have, it's still kind of warm. I can tell it's warm. But then at the same time, I don't want to burn my fingers, right? Just kind of grease that down like that. Okay. Now put this over here because I'm going to reuse it. Most likely, we'll reuse it. And as soon as I see a little bit of smoke, I'm going to use it. So I want to start off with my tortilla in the center here. And then you want to control the rolling pin. So you get it on your dominant. If you're left-handed, you want to use this side. If you're right-handed, you use it on your right side. And then you just take the palm of your hand and you're going to be pressing while you're rolling. Okay? So it's like a multitask thing. And you want to put it in the center like so, and gently. And you probably don't even need to put a lot of pressure on it. See how beautiful that is? You don't need to put a lot of pressure on these because, and of course you have the professionals, the professionals, pro cook, the professionals that do them really super fast, and they're actually making them while you're ordering food. So they're made by hand. Each tortilla is made by hand, and it's just so beautiful. Now you just kind of want to set that on there. I don't think that was hot enough yet. I have the fan blowing, so it's kind of cooling down my, gotta have the fan blowers in the kitchen. It doesn't have fan blowers in the kitchen is, I'm quitting finding the fan. Either boss get you a fan or find a place where there's a lot of ventilation. Because this is really a nice art craft in food, especially in the Mexican cuisine. So, okay, they're starting to bubble up, but not as much. It's like not as much as I'd like it to. So I'm going to kick it up a little bit, have a little sip of my coffee. Wipe my hands. And so I had to find the right flour. Back to the flours. I had to find the right flour to make that nice, pillowy, nice, soft flours. And of course, you can find those flours, but I find that this fine pastry flour works incredibly, really well. And I have tried the high gluten, and I've tried the oatmeal. And each time I've made the tortillas, they've come out a little bit different. But I find with the fine pastry flour, the same flour that you would use for cakes, makes a beautiful flour tortilla. Can't go wrong. And as long as you are looking for that extreme flexibility and almost to a stickiness, and then while you're kneading the tortillas, the flour the flour, the dough, while you are kneading it, you're making the gluten stretch. Yep, and that's what's going to make the tortilla nice and chewy and delicious. And these are almost done. You see how that one kind of poof up a little bit? You turn it over as soon as it puffs up. And I really don't want to get into the science of it, but I gave you just enough to kind of, you know, keep in mind while you're making them. Keep in mind while you're making them. So, and they're so beautiful. Okay, that one is done. It didn't poof up like I want to, but because it has like, and it doesn't take long for them to cook as long as you have like a nice grill there going. And it, because it has the little brown spots, that's how you can tell they're done. And this one's already puffed up, so I'm gonna wipe the flour off of this one. Put another one down. Now it's starting to heat up. And then I want to cover them up immediately. Just kind of wipe that down. Oops. Put some flour on that roller, just like you would if you were making a crust. Back over there. If you're afraid of getting your fingers scorched, of course you could use the spatula, but I don't like using the spatula. I like using my fingers, that way I can touch it. And what am I touching? Well, the flour gets a little firm. So it's just like if someone was cooking your steak, they touch it to make sure that it is firm. And you know, some people are particular about gloves. Trust your cook and make sure that your cook is washing their hands constantly. If anything, I'd probably be a little OCD on that area. So I feel like this. If the person is clean, then you will know that that person is clean by their hands, by the way they keep themselves, and their appearance, and that says a lot about that person. So when you walk into a restaurant, it should be a fresh smell instead of a rancid smell. I mean, that's why we have our scents. So I'm going to turn that on. So here we go. We have a beautiful tortilla. The towels should be clean. It should be kept in buckets of sanitation. I keep a bucket in my own home of sanitized water where I use my towels and I wash my towels out. And back over here. Wipe this off. Lower it. Keep your area clean. Here. Make sure your hands are dry in between making your tortillas. Okay. In between washing them and making sure your hands are clean. And the flour won't hurt, so it'll actually get cooked off a little. Alrighty. Wipe this off. Get that flour off of there, okay? As much as possible. Or your beepers will go off. So I'm almost done. You see how quick that was? Which is nice. Almost done. Make sure your surface is always clean in between. Find any surprises in your tortillas. You see how beautiful these are? These are so nice. They're nice, and they're not crackery. They're nice and flexible. Okay. That cleaned up. Beautiful. Mr. Diaz. Really happy because after a couple times of getting cracker tortillas, it's like, wait a minute, something's not right here. So it's kind of exciting once you kind of figure it out. It's like, wait a minute, okay, now I remember. It's been so long since I made them. But once, it's just like riding a bike. Once you figure it out, you can kind of, it's easy again. Wow. And you got some beautiful marks on those tortillas. I'm just going to turn off the front here, so I won't need it. That going, and then I'm done. And it was that quick and that simple.